Can't refund an item bought at 70% off? Fine, give me a cash refund at full price, by user Rajal Riaditakan. This happened a couple of years ago at Canadian Tire with one of their Mastercraft tools that often go on sale for huge discounts. We were helping my in-laws clear out old belongings when they were moving, and I found an impact wrench that looked unused with a 2-year-old, edit, probably much older, receipt attached. Phil said that there was always a problem with it, so he never used it and forgot to return it. I decided to try to return it to Canadian Tire since they have long warranties on their products. The CSR looked at the receipt for $60, on sale from $200, and said you can't return this item with this receipt. Too much time has passed and the receipt is useless. I tried explaining there were issues with it but she didn't believe me. I googled the issues right there, and it came up as a recall item for the exact reason I stated. I showed it to her and she begrudgingly agreed that I could return it as a recall. She asked for the receipt back so she could refund me, and I said no, too much time has passed and the receipt is useless. She glared at me and processed a cash refund for $225 plus including taxes. Upper management of the sports club fires me and cripples their kitchen, by user Scaramel. So I'm a professional chef and I have been for a few years, and in Australia apprentice chefs are trained in a sort of college where we learn about 150 recipes. Now many of the recipes are provided to the students in bulky, finicky booklets that you wouldn't really want to take anywhere with you, so I started writing some of the recipes in a separate notebook along with some other recipes I'd learned from co-workers or family members and created a sort of pseudo cookbook, and I would often bring this book into the kitchen so I would remember ingredient quantities and cooking times, and eventually I would leave the book in the kitchen pretty much around the clock. What I soon found out was that some of the other chefs in the kitchen were using my cookbook to check official recipes for the restaurant we worked for, as typically the head chef would have to tell them, and this got annoying for everyone. And this restaurant was a part of a popular sports club in the local area, so consistency was extremely important to management. As such, having a written record of the new recipes or changes to long-time recipes was very important. As it turned out, management had stopped making changes to the official club recipe book a few months before I even started, so my book became the de facto official recipe book. For a while this was no issue to me and I kept adding new recipes to it throughout the next few years. However, after my third year working there I finished my studies and became fully qualified as a chef, so I suddenly became more expensive to keep on as a staff member, and as such management started looking for any reason to replace me with a new apprentice. Eventually they found someone to replace me and gave a half-assed reason for firing me and told me to take all my things and leave as I could no longer offer what they were looking for, so I took everything I owned and left, including the notebook with all the club's recipes. For a few days not a whole lot happened, but slowly the club's reviews started complaining about bland food, dry cakes, inconsistent classic recipes and every other food-related thing you could think of. At one point there was 50 negative reviews in a single day, which for our town was a massive amount of negative reviews in one day. It felt pretty damn good since I felt they deserved it and left me unemployed on short notice. However, I was quickly offered a new job by a smaller restaurant whose owner knew me from the sports club kitchen. The Malicious Compliance. After about a week I received multiple calls, and after answering one I heard one of the higher managers at the sports club asking if I could return the book as the kitchen needed it back. I obviously laughed and said firmly that it was my book full of my recipes, so it wasn't going anywhere near them, reminding them that they had told me I could no longer offer what they were looking for. The manager clearly began to panic as he offered to give me my job back and just let bygones be bygones. I already had a new job, so I completely brushed off this offer and ignored him. I hung up pretty soon after that. I started putting the recipes from my book on the new restaurant's menu, and it was beginning to attract a few regular customers of the sports club, so I quickly found myself with more and more responsibility and command within the kitchen, to the point that about a third of the menu was from my book. Now this slow trickle of sports club regulars picked up speed after about 3 months and led to several high-level managers from the club deciding to visit the restaurant I'd helped build and virtually demanded I give them my cookbook, claiming it would be much more beneficial for the community if they had it. My head chef laughed in their faces and told them to piss off. It's been about 2 years and my head chef and I have a very positive relationship, and the customer base we have at the restaurant is better than ever. We didn't take every customer from the big club, but it was enough damage to their profits to scare a few investors away and also lead to a decent bit of damage to one of the higher managers' reputations. Furthermore, the recipe issues and negative reviews lead to the majority of the kitchen quitting, and according to one of my old colleagues, they cited the lack of support and organization from upper management as the final reasons everyone was quitting, and this led to an even larger dip in the quality of the restaurant food. I also get paid significantly more at this restaurant than I was at the sports club. Job wanted work shirts back when I quit. They received a pile of muddy ashes, by user BILLERGIRLBITCH. Back on February 23, 2014, Sunday, I was driving home from going clothes shopping for my new job I was starting in a week when my car literally caught on fire with me and my then 4-year-old son in it. I had just bought $200 worth of clothes and my laundry was in my car from the laundromat, including my work shirt and white lab coat. I had already given my notice to my boss that I was leaving and the next day, Monday, I called in to tell her what had happened and that I would not be in due to smoke inhalation issues and needing to go buy a new car. This was supposed to be my last day. She decides to tell me then that I needed to return my 3 work shirts and both lab coats or I would have the costs garnished from my last check. I told her that they were a pile of ash at the salvage yard. She tells me I have to bring them in. Okay. Will do. Insert eye roll and a certain finger flashing from my side of the phone. Tuesday I walked in with a picture of my laundry basket melted in my car and a Ziploc filled with ashes and mud. I recorded myself giving them to her and telling her again what happened. I got a side eye and a WTF. I walked out with a smirk. Asterisk edited to add that I've been at the new job now for 10 years in March. Best move I ever made. Also, my wages never were garnished. I don't think they legally could, but who knows. Won't let me work from home? Okay, I'll fart up the office, by user AdventureOusWave 4721. This could also probably go in Ida LOL. I'm usually able to work from home but I go into the office 1 day a week. One of the side effects of a medication I'm on is uncontrollable gas. This is one of the less serious, but more annoying and hilarious side effects. Lately it's gotten pretty bad. Since I usually work from home, I asked if I could WFH on my office day, figured I'd spare others and only subject myself and my dog, who can hold his own gas-wise anyway. I just said it was because I was having side effects but kept it vague. I could hear my boss sigh. She said you need to come in today. We have some new people starting and I told them you would do a meet and greet. And it would look bad if I wasn't there. I didn't think that's a good enough reason, but she kept insisting so I took a pill to try and stop the gas and went into work. Gas pill wears off at 10 a.m. I managed to meet the people and it's fine but then I'm informed that I'm expected to stay in their class and shadow the training. I'm guessing that's the real reason my boss wanted me in. At this point try to get a private moment to tell my boss, a classy lady who wears pearls, that I be fartin'. But alas, she was whisked away to another meeting. So. The first few times I had to fart I tried to excuse myself, but it became so distracting me going in and out of the room that eventually I just decided to let it happen in this room of about 10 of our newest hires. Someone must have told my boss on lunch break because I got a PM that said okay you can go home. Don't know what other fallout to expect from that, but I'm at home with my dog right now just gassing my place up. I dare you. Okay, bet, by usernew_Terry. A couple of years ago I was working with a really obnoxious coworker. He was super lazy, always complaining, extremely unmotivated to do anything actually related to his job, very motivated to mess around at any given opportunity. Anyway, this one night I was doing the big closing mop. At my store this meant filling a bucket full of water/floor cleaner, splashing it all over the store, scrubbing over with a hard brush and vacuuming everything with a wet vac. Clean, fast and effective. So I get around to the front counter and there he is, just standing in the middle of my path with a shit-eating grin on his face. I'm like, bro, can you move? Nah. Seriously. I need to get this done fast. Yeah, nah. Dude, you don't move, I'ma dump water all over you. Go on then. I dare you. Okay. One thing about me is I never make a threat I won't follow through. I immediately pour what's left in my bucket directly into his sneakers. He shrieks and jumps out my way. He spends the next hour complaining that his socks are full of water.